America, where everyone has a voice, but too many fail to speak. Too many don't know the foundation of our nation, have never read the Constitution, the Bill of Rights, or the Articles of Confederation, and fail to end up in a voting booth. It's time for change. Welcome to the Voice of Young America with Justin Austin, a platform for young America to voice their ideals and have meaningful dialogue on politics, economics, and social issues. Connect at thevoiceofyoungamerica.org. Now, the host of the Voice of Young America, Justin Austin.
Welcome to the Voice of Young America. I'm your star host, Justin Austin. Thank you, folks, for tuning in. We appreciate it every week. And we just want to give a thanks to our Lord and Savior starting off this show. That's what it's always about when it comes down to it. The vision for the show is to encourage and empower young Americans in issues concerning politics, economics, and social issues. But the core of it is always to give glory to God. And that's something that we always need to be conscious about. I try to stay conscious. I'm not perfect, but that's definitely something that's quite important to me, will always be important to me. And on that theme and on that topic, I'd like to think about what does faith and values in Christ mean to America. At one point, it meant everything. It meant so much that we were willing to put God we trust on our money. We were willing to start every meeting with prayer. They used to open sessions with prayer. That's something to be respected. I know in some places they still do that. Of course, not in America, or maybe in a small town. But that meant so much to know that what you were doing was blessed by the Creator. I don't see something that's more magnificent than that, right? To acknowledge Him in all that you do. And I believe that one point that's America had that type of theme, had that type of mindset to praise the Creator in all that we did. That providence. I mean, how many times is providence mentioned in the letters of the founding fathers? How many times is providence mentioned in the Declaration or the Constitution? And now today, look at today, right? Today, if you prayed in school, you'd probably be thrown out. Today, if you prayed in the courthouse, if a judge walked in and prayed before he started the courtroom, there would be some feedback that would be undesirable. That's amazing, right? We get the justice system based off the 10 Commandments, right? But then if you talk about the source of the power of America, which is unalienable rights given by the Creator, that's a problem. If you talk about the source of the laws in America, that's a problem. Is it still America, right? Think about that. The values that we built this country on are so eroded, are so depleted, that is this still America? In Germany, a state called Bavaria, they are putting crosses up on every government building. It's a law there. And they already have crosses up in every courthouse and every school. We can't do that here in America. We have unalienable rights given to us by the Creator. That's how we found the power. The source of our power for this great country comes from the inalienable rights that were given to us by the Father to be protected. That's why we have the Constitution, to protect those rights. But we got to make sure we keep God out of everything, right? Is that still America? When those values that something is built on is eroded, is that still America? Now, over there in Germany, the reason that they're putting crosses up on every government building and the reason that they have crosses up in every school and every courthouse is because they want to make sure that you see what their values are. And I guess they use the cross as an example of their faith and their values. And not only that, Angela Merkel has permitted so many immigrants to be allowed into Germany. So with that being said, you have all these Muslims that are migrating into these areas. And what they want to do, they want to let the immigrants know that this is not a Muslim country. This is not a Muslim state. We believe in Christian values here. That you are welcome into our schools, into our communities, into our courtrooms, into our government facilities. But just know, when you come into this territory, you're coming into a Christian holy land. Is that right? Because we don't do that in America. We won't never, ever tell someone you're coming to a Christian, holy, faith-filled land that's protected by the Creator. We wouldn't tell anyone that, would we? Can we say that? Can we say that America is a Christian-filled, faithful land that's blessed by the Creator? That His promises have led us to get so far in this world? Can we say that? Well, that's what they're saying to the immigrants that are coming over into Germany, into their state. And I think about that. Is it ballsy? No. It's so beautiful. Because the love of Christ says that you should invite these people into their land because they're being oppressed where they are. Totally fine. But to invite someone into your house, does that mean that you take down you put away your Bibles? You put away your hymns? Do you tuck in your crosses into your bedroom drawers because you have company over? That's the question. With Merkel allowing all these immigrants that are mostly of a Muslim background coming into that country, and this state is saying that we are okay with them coming as long as they respect our values. Well, don't you say that to your house guests when they come over? Don't you say, if you're coming into my home, respect that this is a Christian home? Why don't we do that in America? It's a separation of church and state. That's not in anywhere in our laws. That's in a letter to a church from Thomas Jefferson. But I ask, is it wrong for us to declare ourselves as a Christian nation? To go further, the party that represents in this area where they're doing these things, of course, there's opposition to it, but the party that proposes these ideas of keeping these values so true in their government institutions, they're considering themselves a Christian party. And someone remarked in the article that I read in USA Today that it's not only about putting the crosses up and declaring that this is a Christian land, it's about living it. What if we were to say that these are our values and we lived by them? That's what the person was saying. And I thought that was phenomenal, right? What if we did that here? I can't get away from that, right? That is so powerful to me, to have a Christian coalition in government leading your people with Christian values and making sure that the institutions that make up that society bear the values of the people. Wow, we did that once here. In America, we once did that. We once proclaimed ourselves as children of providence and made sure that we put on every piece of paper, every document, everything that we did. Before we even started something, we gave praise to the Creator. You couldn't even start a football game without giving praise to the Creator. Now, ooh. So this is my charge. This is my charge. My call to action today to anyone that's listening. If you consider yourself a Republican, you consider yourself someone of faith. You cannot be a Christian and not understand what the Republican principles are. The Republican principles are ingrained in what Christ was speaking. So no Republican can be considered a Republican if they do not respect the Christian values. I declare this now, and I declare that we got to start making distinctions. I no longer today, and I'm not saying that I did before, but I want to make this declaration. And anyone who stands with me, I praise you. That I no longer will say that I'm a Republican and a Christian, because my faith comes first. I'm first a child of God. So the only way that I can be a Republican is because that I'm a Christian first. The only way to be a part of the party in Bavaria, in Germany right now, to be a part of the leading party, you have to be a Christian, because the party declares themselves as Christians. The leading party. They declare themselves as Christian. They go about their laws and their implementation of things based on their faith first. So therefore, if you say that you are a Republican, that means that first you are a Christian. That's how you became led to be a Republican, first of all. And therefore that you will implement your values into the laws that you put forth. And what does that mean, Justin? Well, thou shalt not kill. What do you think that comes from? Why do you think you go to the death penalty chamber and all these other things? Because that is wrong. But who told you it was wrong? Christ first, right? And you say, Justin, you say Christ first, and then you go to the Old Testament. Even in the Old Testament, David tells you, my Lord speaks to the Lord. So in the Old Testament, they knew of Christ. Don't be fooled. Read your scripture. It's so beautiful. It tells you so much. So today I make this declaration. To be a part of a political party, you have to have a set of values first. Before you have a set of values, you have to have a faith first. So your political position must be based off your faith, because a man's vision is determined by his faith first. And you cannot be a part of a party without having a vision. These things are one and the same. You have to have a source for everything that you do. So let your political source, whatever your social source, all sources be of Christ. And if it's not, get out. Actually, if the Republican Party no longer represents the values that hold true to the Christian faith, then let's start our own party. Whatever is necessary. But first comes faith. We are letting people into our doors of America, and we're saying, be whatever you want to be. Have whatever values that you want to have, but we're going to be a strong country in spite of not having a shared value? That's so stupid. Who believes that? Who really believes that a house divided will stand? Where does that make sense? Where in history has that been proven that a people of no faith will be forever instilled? Well, no one lives forever, but what civilization has shown you that without a lack of faith and a lack of concentrated values, that they will stand strong? If you can show me a civilization that has existed for a significant period of time that has lived without faith, then I will shut my mouth. I'll shut down my show, but you won't find one. The reason that they existed for a significant period of time because they had a shared vision. They had a leader. Not only did they have faith and values, they had a leader that embodied those visions. So therefore, the people were able to follow. This is the voice of young America. We're Christian first. Then we're Americans. An America without God is no America. An America without God is no America. Wake up. If you say take Christ out of schools, you're not American. If you say take Christ out of government, you're not American. Christ built America. Remember that. We'll be back. This is Justin Austin.
You're listening to the voice of young America with Justin Austin. Connect with Justin online at thevoiceofyoungamerica.org. the voice of young America on AM 860. The Answer.
Finding skilled and unskilled tradesmen can be a problem, whether it's temporary or long-term. Rose Employment Solutions handles all of your workers' comp needs while responsibly solving your staffing problems. You make the call, they do it all. 813-644-5037. And for the quality tradesmen in search of career growth, full-time hours, and multiple pay options, call Rose Employment Solutions, 813-644-5037. Learn more at rose-emp.com or just stop by their office, 1020 West Bush Boulevard in Tampa. I'm Justin Austin, host of The Voice of Young America. When it comes to complete auto repair and fast service, check out the pros at Autoland Center, 1308 East Bush Boulevard in Tampa, providing professional quality work on all American-made and foreign car models. Great pricing on complete auto repair services, oil changes, and brakes. Autoland Center at 1308 East Bush Boulevard, where experience and good service go a long way. Call 813-764-7891. That's 813-764-7891. Autoland Center. I'm Justin Austin with the VOYA. Do you like the vibe of downtown St. Pete? Wish that was in your neighborhood? Now it is. Check out Cafe 46 in North St. Pete. Great food, beer, and games with an artsy and vibrant atmosphere. Paintings from local artists. Grab morning breakfast, choose a sandwich off the lunch and dinner menu, or just have a drink and play some pool. Cafe 46, that's 6774 North 46th Avenue in St. Pete. Or check out cafeon46.com.
Welcome back to the Voice of Young America with Justin Austin. Connect with Justin by email, thevoyatampabay@gmail.com.
Welcome back to the Voice of Young America. I'm your star host, Justin Austin. Let's give a shout out to our sponsors at Rose Employment Solutions. You make the call, they do it all. 813-644-5037. Also, check out their website at rose-emp.com or just stop by the office, 1020 West Bush Boulevard, Tampa, Florida, 33612. And now into our next section. I want to talk about the Arizona teacher strike. And today it's another day in the cog of the machine of strikes. And what do strikes mean to the education system? Well, they mean a lot, right? Because when the teachers decide to strike, then the students miss school. So therefore, the parents most likely are going to miss work. It's a trickle-down effect. It affects everybody. It goes from the teachers to the students to their parents to the jobs to the economy. So we want to understand the breadth of how big the strike is, how much it affects, and how many teachers are striking. How many students? I believe they say 1.1 million students are in that school system. 800,000 will be displaced due to the strike. And then when we think on those numbers, that's a lot of people, right? A significant amount of people. So it definitely draws attention and stays in the news and whatnot. But what are they striking about? Well, first, before they get to what they're striking about, is striking correct? Is it legal? Most definitely. Is it a right? Most definitely, because you have freedom of choice. You don't have to go to work. You can stop. So is it within their means? Is it immoral? No. Not at all. It's not immoral. It's definitely within their means. It's definitely their right to do that. And why do people strike? People strike because they feel like by removing their services, they're boycotting whatever employer or industry, whatever the case may be, to prove a point, to bring awareness, and to make sure that the pressure of them boycotting, them removing their services from that employer or that industry brings such pain that you will acquiesce to what they're saying. So let's get this clear. All strikes are a tool to put pressure on those in power to acquiesce or come to the table in some way, shape, or form to meet the demands of those who are striking. It's a weapon. It's a tool. It's a force. There's force in numbers. If one teacher went on strike, nobody would care. But when enough teachers go on strike that 800,000 students are displaced, yes, people care. So do the students care? No one really cares about the students in this situation. Not saying people don't care about students, but in this situation, the health of the students, their growth is not a big deal. It's not a big deal. whether they miss 5 days, whatever, they have an extended summer, the teachers don't care. Because why? Their purpose, their vision for their strike trumps the education of these children. So let's be clear. Not to say that's them being evil, but let's put everything on the table. For them to strike, that means that kids will be removed from school and have to stay home. For the kids to stay home, that means their parents most likely will have to miss work. And for the parents to miss work, that means whoever their employer is, that means they most likely will miss out on some type of funds. And then that means less money has went into the economy today. Now, is that catastrophic? No, no way, shape, or form. We'll always survive a strike. But let's put it in perspective. The strike is more important than education right now. Okay, boom. So let's move on to what are they striking about? Of course, it's always about teachers' pay. And then what else is about teacher standards, right? And that's huge, right? That's really huge. But what's bigger? And not to say that the strike's not big, not to say these teachers don't deserve what. Okay, let's identify something right quick. We don't appreciate education in America. Boom. Right there. We don't appreciate education in America. We have lost a sense of how important education is. And the reason that I can say this wholeheartedly is even because when you read Adam Smith's Wealth of Nations, he tells you that you put so much time into schooling that you forget education is to, as Aristotle says it, to build you up in wisdom and virtue. So Aristotle, before Adam Smith, he said is to build you up in virtue and knowledge. And then you take the real everyday practical understanding of education is to build you up in wisdom and virtue. And then on top of wisdom and virtue, it wants to give you knowledge in a certain area after a certain level of education. Then you get your specifics so you can dive into a particular area. Now, if you go to Adam Smith and the Wealth of Nations, he tells you that we spend more time on education than actual training. And when he says that, boom, you have to understand the context. It's not that we spend more time on education. We spend too much time in the classroom. We spend so much time in the classroom that it overwhelms and just overshadows the training period. If we spent more time actually training people on the job, we would spend more. We would need less money on education. It makes more sense, right? But anyways, so to go back to what is education and all these things, these teachers who are striking because they don't want tougher standards, they don't want lesser pay, and all these things, and to a certain degree, teachers should be paid a certain wage that is remarkable to what they provide. But it's a balance, right? What teachers provide to the economy, to the society as whole, is significant to the point where it cannot be removed. That's why the government ensures that it's in place, because it's that much of a pivotal piece of what we do here as human beings to build the child mind up. I totally agree with that. But then you can't, when the government gets involved, that means it can't be a free market product. So then we have to say, then, well, what's the regulation? Well, teachers are regulated by so many things, and their pay and their salary has to come out of a budget, which comes out of the government budget, which comes from taxes from citizens. So therefore, to tax the citizens to pay for education, which I'm totally for, but that means you have to say, how much should a teacher be worth on average? Is that based on what she actually, or he or she, or the education system actually means to America? No, it doesn't mean that. Does a teacher's salary is dependent on how impactful they are to a society? No. Is a teacher's salary reflective of the input that they give towards the kids that they serve? No, it's not. A lot of teachers, even though they get paid, they use a lot of their earnings to put back into the classroom to actually buy more things for students. Whether it's candy, whether it's doing a special day or a fun thing, new posters, whatever the case may be, a lot of teachers come out of pocket. And I know this because a lot of my friends are either their wives are teachers or, their parents are teachers. And I've learned this over time. My uncle's a teacher. He's a coach too. So, I'm speaking from experience. I do respect that teachers don't get paid enough. But teachers are regulated by the government. Government is regulated by taxes. So then you say, well, is there not enough money for teachers within the tax system? Of course it is. Of course it is. But you're more worried about giving people Medicaid and Medicare. You're more worried about giving people Social Security. You're more worried about giving the EPA money for stuff that we don't need. You're more worried about keeping government huge as heck. That's why you can't pay teachers what they're worth. It's not that teachers don't deserve the money that they're striking for, but they're doing it in the wrong way. The teachers would never, ever be at the level that they should be at least with pay, because of the fact that they keep attacking and striking against the school board and all. That's not about what it is. Change Washington. That's how teachers get more money. Tell Washington that it's more important for kids to be educated and teachers to have a decent salary than it is to support millions of Americans on food stamps. Who's willing to have that conversation? See, they're willing to tell you that you should take more for the rich, but they're not willing to tell you that they're wasting money that we already have that can actually provide for them. I'm for teachers making more money. I will never be for this strike, because the strike is not going to achieve what they want. How many strikes have there been in history for teachers? Has it actually really achieved what they wanted? No. Did they put the pressure on the necks of the school board and some of the state members? Yes. And then sometimes did they acquiesce? Yes, I totally agree. But is that still reaching the platform, reaching the goals that they have for themselves? No. And the reason why is their leadership. Their leadership has believed that the way that they go about this is the correct way. It's not. It doesn't get what they want. You allocate more money at the federal system. Take more money from food stamps, unemployment, Social Security, Medicaid, Medicare, and you can pay teachers the right way. So if you're a teacher and you're listening, talk to your leadership. That's how you get things changed. But what's the flip side, right? Teachers are willing to strike for more pay and more reasonable standards to apply metrics to their teaching and teaching performance. And I'm not saying that's not a worthy cause. But if you type into your Google right now, if you were to upload and go into, you just open your phone or open your computer, open your laptop, iPad, whatever. And if you were to type in how many teachers have went on strike because there's too many bad teachers in the system, that's making the system worse. How many teachers have created a rally or created a march for kids not graduating? We have a march for breast cancer. We have a march for the March of Dimes and kids being born premature. We have all these things. But how many people march for strong fathers? How many people march for two-parent homes? How many people march for kids actually not wasting their time in college when they should be in a trade? This is ridiculous. You're putting the cart before the horse. You are willing to march to get more money in your pockets and to make sure that the government is not putting too many restrictions on your performance pay. But how many of you are mad that you have crappy teachers standing next to you? How many of you really ready to march for that or strike for that? Don't worry, I'll wait. You're not marching for your students. You're marching for your pockets. How many teachers are willing to march because of the fact that it's not enough kids with not enough school books for good school books for kids? How many teachers are willing to march for that? How many teachers are willing to march to take back education from those who want to rewrite history? How many people are willing to march for that? So are what they doing wrong? No. But is their vision incorrect? Yes. The strike is not going to be effective because it's not going after the right issue. It's not actually attacking the right entity. The strike it has a poor vision because it's not encompassing what needs to be encompassed. It needs to be an education movement, not a strike just to make sure you get more money in your pocket. What's the education movement? And you think you're going to get an education movement through your union? Your union doesn't care. They care about you paying your teacher dues and them being able to hold the school board in a headlock and all this other stuff. Your vision is incorrect. You have poor leadership. Just like how we talked about with the cops. How many cops are willing to say that the guy next to me is a bad cop? How many teachers are willing to say the teacher next door to me is a bad teacher? When are we going to start standing up for that? Where's the whistleblowers for teachers, right? Wow. Where's the whistleblower for teachers? How can bad teachers be pointed out and be removed? How many teachers are calling out other teachers that aren't teaching kids? Your vision is in the wrong place because you have poor leadership. Your leadership should be telling you that what you're doing is not effective because history has shown it's not effective. It's a small time change. It's like fighting to get rice on your plate when you should be fighting for the steak. Why are you fighting for a side instead of the entree? It's foolish. It's poor leadership. The education system in America is skewed. People have blinders on. This is the voice of Young America. We'll be right back.
You're listening to the Voice of Young America with Justin Austin. Connect with Justin online at thevoiceofyoungamerica.org. The Voice of Young America on AM 860. The Answer.
I'm Justin Austin with the VOYA. Do you like the vibe of downtown St. Pete? Wish that was in your neighborhood? Now it is. Check out Cafe 46 in North St. Pete. Great food, beer, and games with an artsy and vibrant atmosphere. Paintings from local artists. Grab morning breakfast, choose a sandwich off the lunch and dinner menu, or just have a drink and play some pool. Cafe 46, that's 6774 North 46th Avenue in St. Pete. Or check out cafeon46.com.
Ladies of Tampa Bay, are you looking for a whole new hairstyle or just want to take your current look from good to glamorous? It's time to call Tiffany. Whether it's highlights, cut, color, curls, or a wedding or special occasion, Tiffany will make your mess a masterpiece. And don't worry, guys, she does men's cuts too. Tiffany's located in North St. Pete. For an appointment, click on tiffdoeshair.com. That's tiffdoeshair.com or call 727-280-3098. tiffdoeshair.com.
Finding skilled and unskilled tradesmen can be a problem, whether it's temporary or long-term. Rose Employment Solutions handles all of your workers' comp needs while responsibly solving your staffing problems. You make the call, they do it all. 813-644-5037. And for the quality tradesmen in search of career growth, full-time hours, and multiple pay options, call Rose Employment Solutions. 813-644-5037. Learn more at rose-emp.com or just stop by their office, 1020 West Bush Boulevard in Tampa.
Welcome back to the Voice of Young America with Justin Austin. Connect with Justin by phone. Call 813-516-6851. 813-516-6851.
Welcome back to the Voice of Young America. I'm your star host, Justin Austin. Let's give a shout out to our sponsor, Tiff Does Hair. She'll make your mess into a masterpiece. Give her a call. She's in North St. Pete, 727-280-3098, or check out her website, tiffdoeshair.com. Now, we want to get into our moment of truth, which is, what is faith? And the truth about it is faith is a belief that is so ingrained in you that it doesn't make sense by your physical vision. It only makes sense by your spiritual vision for your life. That's a big enough statement. I'm going to let you chew on that. But I could go further, but we're not going to do a sermon today. So let's get into our next topic, which is our social piece, which is faith in America. I can't wrap my head around this. It's and we started the show off with this, and I got to come back to it. We're going to end the show with this. America cannot be America without faith in God. So what does that mean? What does that look like, Justin? What would be symptoms of America having faith in God and being led by that? Wow. Pornography would be illegal. Wow. Is that crazy to say? That we have $1 billion industry that I'm willing to just eliminate? Yep. Pornography would be illegal. That's a symptom of having faith in your country as a society. That's a symptom. Oh, but Justin, how about the free market? The free market the principle is not for the free market to be able to destroy the fabric of society. That's not the meaning of a free market. A free market means that the instruments and the contents are designed in a way for things to flow and have an ebb and flow based off supply and demand. But that supply should be virtuous and that demand should be virtuous as well. What is a country that allows sexual promiscuity to be a product to be sold? Do we ever look at ourselves like, really? I think about this I'm going to give you a personal example and then apply it to the country. When we think about our faith, when we think about what it means to walk with your creator, that means that letting go and letting God. That means that acknowledging how powerful and how magnificent that he is, that by the time that you were created, your ending was already written. If you read in scripture, it tells us it's predestinated. That means that it's already been completed. Christ gives us more information when he says that there will be tribulation in the world, but be of good cheer. I have already overcome the world. Not that I am going to overcome the world. He didn't say that. He said, I have already overcome the world. It's already been planned. It's already been completed. You're just living it. So if your faith tells you that Christ already overcame the world, that you're just living your piece of his overcoming. So that means in your personal life and my personal life, that my faith means that I should only focus on being righteous. God's plan is already complete. I want to be his soldier, a member of his body, a tool, a piece of clay for his work. For me to be a part of God's plan, that means that I have to be a righteous man, which I'm a wretch, guys. I'm no better than anyone. I'm a struggling Christian making it every day through the grace of God. I'm a sinner just like everyone else. But my goal is to be a righteous man. So if we are a country predicated on having a creator and that we have these unalienable rights as humans given by him, and that we have the power to be led by him, and that this Constitution that we have is based off our love and our relationship with him, then how can we allow our society to be composed and comprised of these things? That's a symptom of your faith or lack thereof. A country with no faith is not going to be a country for very long. Please tell me who's telling us that. Please tell me which one of the leaders of America is pushing that message. That I love America so much that I want you guys to know that the only way this beautiful country can exist in perpetuity is by having a faith. So that means if we do have a faith, that means that's where our vision starts. And if that's what our vision starts, that means that the values that come with that faith must be integrated into our society for us to be able to live that vision, that walk. So we are to say that we are a nation who has a creator. in that we love this creator and he's so beneficent to us, we should have symptoms of that relationship, of that contract. Like when God said to the Israelites, when he made the covenant with Abraham, Isaac, and Jacob, he said that you will be my people and I will be your God. Let me clarify that. If you shall be my people and follow my commandments, I will be your God. So that means that we must live out the contract, out the covenant to reap the rewards, which is a flourishing, thriving, long-lasting nation. Don't we want that for America? Or we believe we get that without faith? We don't. We don't get to see how beautiful American can be in the year 2100 without having faith right now in 2018. We need leaders who are going to push this message that we can only survive as a country if we're a faithful country. No one's saying that. No one's making that an issue. Why? Oh, because a country is made up of communities, and communities are made up of families, and families are made up of individuals, and they are supposed to be led. So if the family is not being led, how can the community be led, and how can the country be led? Because fathers aren't leading. So if fathers don't have the vision to serve Christ, the family can't serve Christ. If the community doesn't have a leader, so therefore the community doesn't have a concentric vision, so therefore they're not being led towards Christ. So how can the country be led towards Christ? It's impossible. We're picking pagan leaders. We're picking pagan leaders and wondering why we're going to have a pagan outcome. So for anything to exist as a company, as a family, as a community, as a country, for it to exist, it has to have a purpose or a vision. And for that purpose and the vision to actually go from the mind and hearts of a man into fruition into this and manifesting into this world, it's going to happen through leadership. It's going to happen through leadership. It's going to happen through some form of leadership, somebody embodying those principles and leading that vision. So what are our leaders' vision for America? Well, you can look at the symptoms, right? Because look at symptoms of faith. We don't have symptoms of faith. Not in our legal system. Shoot, not in our church. I went to a church. The church tried to sell me a book where I could and it's just crazy. The church wants to sell you products. The church wants to sell you coffee. The church wants to sell you DVDs. The church wants to sell you manifestos of the pastor. But we wonder why we don't have faith in America. It's not even faith in the church. It's a business. With all these churches in America, all these Christian churches in America, tell me how they're less faith now with more churches than 40 years ago. We had people declaring more faith with less churches. Does that make sense? It doesn't. So how can you have more churches but more broken homes? Go into most churches, you will see more women than you will see men. So you have the pastors preaching to women, but the women are going to go home and lead. They're going to go home and follow. Oh, we got single parent homes. You got women, no man in there. So she is going to lead, right? Nope. She's still following someone else. When a woman gets on welfare and the man is not in the home, The woman is following the government. And what do I mean by that? Well, the government says for you to get your food stamps, your WIC, your housing, you have to follow these rules. So then the woman now follows whose vision? The government's. Oh, you thought that because she's a single parent, she's still being led. She's a leader now. She's not a leader. She's not a leader. She's following necessity. I have to make sure my kids get fed. I have to make sure they do. She's following necessity. She's not leading. She's following necessity because a man's not there. Faith. Let's go back to the symptom of faith. The symptom of faith in the home would be a man leading. That's a symptom of faith. Because no woman could believe in Jesus Christ and believe that she can lead her family. Because Christ never told her that. These things cannot be removed. Now, I want you guys to pay attention to something. I said this before. America will only get worse. Do I want to make America great again? Yes, I do. But I can't be the only one. And I know you want it too, but you don't want it bad enough to actually identify what you're doing to hurt America. When you don't vote and you allow Hillary Clinton to have a shot at the Oval Office, you're hurting America. When you don't step up in your home and take care of your family and try to allow a woman to lead out of necessity, then you're hurting America. When you think that pornography should be legal, you're hurting America. These are symptoms. What are symptoms of the American public? Right now, the American society. It's not symptoms of faith. It's symptoms of a lack of faith. All the things that we're going through are symptoms of how far we are from Christ as a nation. No one who realizes that you can mark how far we are from Christ by how our country is. Look at how much domestic terrorism that we face. We're far from God, man. And no one's talking about it. We really think we're going to be a fantastic nation without telling people come closer to Christ. People in Germany right now are trying to protect their nation by saying this is a Christian land. We're going to allow you to come here because that's our Christian faith to open our doors to hospitality. But don't forget, when you walk through these doors, these are faith-filled doors. Our courthouse is faith-filled. Our churches are faith-filled. Our classrooms are faith-filled. Our government offices are faith-filled. You can't do that in America. These people want to let the Islamic people in, but let them know that this is a Christian country. It's a Christian state, because it's not the whole state of Germany. It's just one sect. They want to preserve their way of life. They want to preserve their relation as a society to Christ and make that known. They want to preserve. How are we preserving? What are we holding on to? Tell me, what values are we holding on to today? Self-aggrandizement, self-gratification. That's all we're holding on to. That's what America's based off right now. Everything for me. And we're supposed to survive? You guys are foolish, man. You cannot survive in this world with no family. But we're I society. We won't be anything in 20 years, man. This is ridiculous. Wake up. Hold on to a value. Grab one. Find one. This is the voice of Young America. We'll see you next week.
You've been listening to The Voice of Young America with Justin Austin. The Voice of Young America relies on committed Americans like you to stand with us. If you're frustrated with the lack of real information being delivered to the next generation, then support Justin's efforts. Connect on social media, online at thevoiceofyoungamerica.org. Email thevoyatampabay@gmail.com. And be sure to join us next Saturday evening at 6 for the Voice of Young America here on AM 860. The Answer.